Listen closely because I will only say this once. My name is Ibrahim Traoré, President of Burkina Faso, and today I do not speak merely as a head of state. I speak as a son of Africa. I speak as a soldier of dignity. I speak as the voice of millions whose hearts burn with the same fire. The fire of freedom, of justice, and of a continent awakening from centuries of silence. We have been quiet for too long. Too long, we've watched our leaders whisper in closed rooms while our people starve in the open. Too long, we've bowed our heads to powers that see us not as equals but as tools. That era is over. We will not be silent, we will not kneel, and we will never again allow foreign forces to treat Africa like their playground. A few days ago, a message spread like wildfire. They say it came from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, a warning to African leaders to stay in line or face consequences. Whether he said it or not is irrelevant to me. The message was loud, arrogant, and unmistakable. That some still believe they can threaten, control, and dominate this continent. Well, I have a message of my own, clear, uncompromising, and rooted in truth. Not just for Netanyahu, but for every nation that still clings to the illusion that Africa is theirs to manipulate. We are not your colonies. We are not your pawns. We are sovereign, and we will fight for our freedom with everything we have. Let me take you back to Ouagadougou, our capital. The day I addressed the world, I didn't read from a script. I didn't need to. When you speak truth, the words come straight from the heart. The room was tense. Eyes locked onto me. Cameras rolled. And I said it plainly. We are no longer colonies. We are sovereign nations. If any foreign leader thinks they can threaten Africa into submission, they are gravely mistaken. The silence in the room was deafening. You could feel the weight of every word land like a stone in history. But I wasn't done. I leaned forward and made myself even clearer. Let me say this directly to you, Mr. Netanyahu. Burkina Faso does not answer to Tel Aviv. We do not answer to Washington. We do not answer to any force that believes it can buy us or bomb us into obedience. Every word I said I meant. This wasn't just about Israel. This was about every foreign power that has ever tried to exploit Africa's resources, divide her nations, or silence her people. This was about centuries of theft, humiliation, and manipulation. This was about gold taken from our soil while our children die hungry. About borders drawn by colonizers who never spoke our languages. About oil pipelines that serve outsiders while our villages live in darkness. And I ended my speech with a warning, not a threat but a promise. If you come for one of us, you come for all of us. Africa is not yours to threaten. Not anymore. You may ask, why speak so boldly, Traoré? Why not follow diplomatic channels like others before you? Because that's not who I am. And that's not what Africa needs. Too many of our predecessors wrote polite letters that were thrown in trash bins in Paris and Washington. Too many made quiet phone calls while foreign armies set up bases in our backyards. Too many believed that by staying silent, we could earn respect. But let me tell you the truth. Respect is never given to the silent. It is earned by those who dare to stand. The people of Burkina Faso today do not want quiet submission. They want dignity. They want justice. They want to know that their leaders are willing to fight, not beg. That we will not trade our land, our pride, our future for loans, aid, or promises that never come true. So no, I will not send a letter. I will not ask permission. I will not apologize for defending my people. Because when Netanyahu's warning reached my ears, I didn't hear an insult to me. I heard an insult to every African child who dares to dream of a future without chains. I heard an insult to every revolutionary who gave their life for our independence. I heard an insult to the soul of Africa itself. They still think we're afraid. They still think we'll sell our dignity for a few barrels of oil or a security deal. But we are not afraid. We are not for sale. And we are not alone. A new Africa is rising. One that refuses to be broken. One that stands shoulder to shoulder across borders drawn by colonizers. We are not Francophone. We are not Anglophone. We are not Lusophone. We are African. And we will decide our own future. So let this echo far and wide. From Tel Aviv to Paris. From Washington to Brussels. This is our land. These are our people, and this is our time. Africa will not bow, not today, not ever. It was an insult, not just to me, not just to Burkina Faso, but to every African who has ever dared to dream of a continent that is free, proud, and united. And I couldn't stay silent. I wouldn't. Because silence is exactly what they've always expected from us. They expect our fear. They expect our submission. They expect us to lower our eyes, bow our heads, and say, "Yes, sir." But I am not that kind of leader. I did not come here to manage a broken system. I came to break it, to fight for my people, for our dignity and for the future we deserve. And here's the truth. I'm not alone. Because something happened, something powerful. After I spoke, after I stood and said what needed to be said, the words didn't just echo inside that hall in Ouagadougou. They ignited a fire across the continent. The video of my speech exploded. On Telegram, on WhatsApp. Within hours, it had reached millions. Not just in Burkina Faso, but in Mali, in Guinea, in South Africa, in Ethiopia, in the diaspora. Across borders, across languages, across generations. I wasn't speaking for myself. I was giving voice to something deeper, something ancient and alive. The hope that refuses to die. The anger that demands justice. The dream that still believes Africa can rise. In Mali, my brother, Colonel Assimi Goïta, shared the clip. In Guinea, Mamadi Doumbouya stood tall and said, "He speaks for me." Across Telegram groups and African networks, a new chant began to spread. Africa will not bow. We stand with Traore. These weren't just hashtags. They were battle cries. They were the sound of a continent waking up. We are no longer just a collection of struggling nations divided by colonial borders. We are something else now. We are a family. And when one of us is threatened, we all stand together. Let me tell you what sovereignty means to me. It's not just a line in a constitution. It's not just a diplomatic phrase tossed around at the UN. Sovereignty is power. Sovereignty is the right to choose. Sovereignty is the right to decide who enters our home, who touches our soil, who takes our gold, our oil, our labor, and on what terms. It is the right to say, "This is Africa, this is our land, and here we decide what happens." But for too long, that right has been stolen from us. Foreign powers have treated Africa like a chessboard. They move their pieces, soldiers, money, corporations, while we are expected to sit quietly and obey the rules of a game we never agreed to play. Well, not anymore. In Burkina Faso, we are reclaiming control. We have said no to foreign military bases on our soil. We have said no to exploitative deals that enrich outsiders while our children go hungry. We have said no to threats, bribes, and blackmail masked as aid. We have said no to fear. And we are not alone. This is not just about Burkina Faso. This is about an African revolution, not of guns and bombs, but of mindsets of courage, of truth. It's about the African youth who are rising. It's about the farmers who refuse to starve while their land is drained for profit. It's about the students who know that we deserve more than crumbs from foreign tables. It's about a generation that is no longer asking for permission to be free. We're taking it, we're owning it, and we're standing together to protect it. So, to those who still believe Africa is weak, divided, and easy to manipulate, you are decades too late. We are not weak. We are waking. We are rising. And we are ready. Africa will not bow. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Across the Sahel, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, we're building more than an alliance. We're building a shield, a foundation, a future. We call it the Sahel Alliance. And it's not just a military pact. It's a promise. A vow that we will stand together, protect one another, and rise as one voice, one force, and one destiny. This is not about strategy. This is about survival with dignity. This is about building a future where Africa calls the shots. Not Paris, not Washington, not Tel Aviv. And I know what some of you are thinking. Haven't we heard this before? Yes, you have. African leaders time and again have made promises, big speeches, lofty declarations. But something about this moment, this very moment, feels different. Why? Because the world is changing. And for once, Africa is not just reacting to change, we are shaping it. For decades, we were told to wait our turn, to play by the rules, to follow the blueprint written by others who never walked our land or knew our pain. But now, we're done waiting. We are writing our own rules. We are flipping the script. Take France, for example. For years, they had a tight grip on countries like mine. Their military bases planted like flags. Their hands in our economies, in our currencies, in our very decisions. They didn't treat us like partners, they treated us like property. But look what happened. Mali said, "Enough." Niger said, "No more." Burkina Faso said, "Get out." And we meant every word. This movement is bigger than me. It's bigger than Burkina Faso. When I spoke out against Benjamin Netanyahu, I wasn't just responding to one man or one country. I was speaking to a legacy, a long, brutal legacy of exploitation. I was addressing every nation that has ever looked at Africa and seen profit instead of people. I was calling out the systems that use bombs, sanctions, loans, and propaganda as weapons against our sovereignty. And I said, "No more. Africa is rising, and we are not afraid." Some called my speech reckless. Let them. Because truth always sounds dangerous in a world built on lies. That speech wasn't reckless. It was necessary. It was a wake-up call, not just to foreign powers, but to every African who has been taught to stay small, stay quiet, stay dependent. We are not here just to survive anymore. We are here to build, to lead, to thrive, to reclaim our place, not as charity cases, but as authors of our own destiny. You know what's interesting? After that speech, Israel's government said nothing. No denial, no clarification, no outrage, silence. And in that silence, I heard the truth. I heard the sound of a power not used to being challenged. I heard discomfort. I heard fear. Not ours, theirs. Because they weren't prepared for an African leader to look into the camera and say, "We are not your subjects. We are not your dependents. We are not afraid of you." They're used to silence. They're used to obedience. But I'm not here to play that role. I'm not here to make powerful men comfortable. I'm here to speak for the voiceless. I'm here to tell the truth, even if it shakes the halls of power. And the Western media? They tried to ignore it. Barely a whisper, barely a headline. Because it didn't fit the narrative they've sold the world for generations. That Africa is weak. That Africa is divided. That Africa is always in need of help. But we are breaking that narrative, one truth at a time. Every time someone shares my speech, every time a young African raises their voice, every time a hashtag like "Africa will not bow" begins to trend, we are rewriting the story of this continent. And this time, we're holding the pen. We are showing the world who we really are. Not the version they've sold in documentaries, not the headlines they print in foreign papers, but the truth. Africa is awakening. I didn't ask to become a symbol. I never set out to be called a hero. I'm just a man, a son of Burkina Faso, a soldier raised in the dust of a proud land, standing up for his people. That's all. But when I look around, when I see the flood of messages from young people in Kinshasa, from elders in Timbuktu, from mothers in Accra, fathers in Dar es Salaam, I understand. This moment is bigger than me. They call me a voice for the continent, a symbol of defiance. They say, if he can stand up to Netanyahu, we can stand up to anyone. And I see what they mean, because when they see me speak without fear, they see themselves. They see a future where we are no longer ruled by fear, where we are no longer told to wait, to obey, to shrink. Let me be clear. I am not doing this for applause. I'm not chasing cameras or fame. I'm doing this because I believe in Africa. I believe in our power. I believe in our story. I believe in a future where we reclaim our name, our land, and our voice. I believe in the dreams of our ancestors who fought colonial powers with nothing but courage and vision. And I believe in the youth of Africa who are ready not just to survive, but to lead. A new generation is rising, one that refuses to beg for scraps while others feast on our riches. We're not asking for a seat at the table. We are building our own table. And it starts here with the Sahel Alliance. Let me tell you what this alliance truly means. It's not just a treaty. It's not a military move. It's a bond written in blood, in brotherhood, in belief. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. We're no longer standing side by side as strangers. We are standing together as brothers. When one of us is attacked, all of us answer. When one of us is threatened, all of us rise. We are sharing what matters most, not just resources, not just ideas, but strength, trust, and vision. We are proving that Africa can stand on its own 2 feet. That unity is not a dream, it is a strategy. That independence is not just the absence of colonizers, it is the presence of purpose. This isn't only about resistance, it's about reconstruction. We want schools where our children are taught the truth, our history, not someone else's version of it. We want hospitals that save African lives, not sit empty as PR projects for foreign donors. We want economies that work for our people, not pipelines that drain our resources to enrich CEOs in Paris and London. This is just the beginning. The Sahel Alliance is the seed. But I dream of a forest. I dream of a day when the whole of Africa, north, south, east, west, stands as one. No longer francophone, no longer anglophone, not divided by flags or accents, but united, Africaphone. Speaking one language, freedom. And to those leaders, foreign or domestic, who still think they can control this continent, I say this now, and let it echo from the deserts to the seas. Your time is up. Africa is not your project. Africa is not your experiment. Africa is not your backyard. We are rising. We are united. And we are just getting started. We are not your resource bank. We are not your battlefield. We are not your silent servants or your political playground. If you think you can buy our silence with money, if you think you can bend our will with bombs, if you think Africa will always kneel, then you haven't been paying attention, because something is happening. Africa is waking up, and we are remembering who we are. We are the children of kings and queens, not beggars, not victims, not slaves. We descend from warriors, not cowards, from builders of kingdoms, not tenants in someone else's empire. We are not a footnote in someone else's story. We are the authors of our own, and we're ready to fight for it. To my African brothers and sisters, wherever you are, from the crowded streets of Lagos to the mountains of Rwanda, from the deserts of Sudan to the ports of Dakar, this is our moment. Do not be afraid. Do not let anyone tell you that Africa cannot rise. Do not let anyone convince you that we are too poor, too divided, too weak to stand on our own. Because that is a lie they've repeated for generations, and we are the generation that will bury it. Share this message, talk to your neighbors, organize in your communities, support the leaders who fight for your children, not for foreign interests. Uplift the voices that speak truth, even when it shakes the world. Hold the line. Because what we are building, together, is a new Africa. An Africa that is strong, proud, and free. Now, I know what some people will say. They'll call my words too bold, too risky. They'll whisper that I'm provoking forces too powerful to resist. But let me ask you this. What is more dangerous, speaking the truth, or staying silent in the face of injustice? What's riskier, fighting back, or continuing to be robbed of our dignity, year after year, generation after generation? To those who say we can't win, I say, we already lose when we refuse to try. I spoke out because I believe in my people. Because I believe we deserve more than handouts, more than threats, more than foreign masters disguised as partners. I believe we have the right to live free, to make our own choices, to shape our own future. If that makes some people uncomfortable, so be it. I am not here to keep colonizers comfortable. I am not here to smile politely while my people suffer. I am not here to be liked by those who disrespect us. I am here to fight for what's right, and I will not stop. Not for applause, not for permission, not for anything. Because Africa deserves nothing less than the truth, and the truth is rising. If you truly believe that one day soon, Africa and Burkina Faso in particular will rise up as a powerful, free, and sovereign nation, then don't just stop at believing in your heart. Take action by leaving us a like, a comment full of hope and energy. Let's pray together. Let's give strength to make that great dream come true, not only in our thoughts but in every step we take. Because the revival of our mother continent is not a matter of one person, nor does it start with weapons or money, but it starts with the strong belief in the heart of every African. Only when we are united, when we constantly inspire each other, can great changes happen. And if you also want to be part of this historic journey, part of the story that many generations are waiting for, click the subscribe button now. Join us, where the voices of Africans are heard, where stories of resilience and hope are shared. Together, we will not only witness but create a new Africa, one that is strong, self-reliant, and shining on the world map. Let your faith be the driving force to turn your dreams into reality. Africa is awakening, and you are part of that awakening.